We are live. We are live. Welcome to the Arkatech Beatz. Music production live stream. Yeah, I'm your main man, Juggernaut of Arkatech Beatz. I'm just having a little technical difficulties. Getting on a little later than normal. We're supposed to be on at 9 o'clock, but we're a little bit late. But hey, better late than never. About to get started on this live stream. Music production, hip-hop beat making. If it's your first time here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and sharing the live, doing all that nice special stuff. But yo, we're about to get busy in here. We're about to get it started. Let's see what we can do here. Let's go. First time here, man. Welcome to the live. Every night we cook up, showing people how to do this music production, you know what I mean? Multi-platinum producers, Big Pun Nas, Jadakiss, Prodigy Mobb Deep, The Game, Killer Mike, Freddie Gibbs, you name it, we've done it. Let's lay that down. Rob, what up? World Peace, what up? Thomas, what up? Let's go. Let's go. Yo, if it's your first time here, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all following. Every night we get up, we do live Music production and beat making. So what we started with our sample. We pitched it up by 1. Got a tempo of about 84. 4 bars, right? We added all of our hats. We did a 16 level velocity. Give us a high low on the hi-hat. Added an open hat on every 4. And then another one on top. Right? We're going to duplicate the track. We're going to name this a snare. We're going to add that in. Tune it up a little bit. Y'all ready? Yeah, what just happened? Wilding out tonight. Let's go. The rule of thumb is to tune your 808 to your sample. You can start off in C. If it doesn't sound good, you tune it to your sample. He's asking if I should tune the 808 to the sample or just go middle C. Funky little sample right here, right? probably hear that. So we tune the 808 to the sample. Let's go. Try it again. Probably I wanted to land on the kick, not really the behind it. One more time. Write that over. Nope. You gotta remember your pads. Let's go. Chad, I need a name for the beat. Let's go. Look, we took a boom bap and we added a whole bunch of 808s to it, right? I got Pastor Blunt and I got Mayday for names. Chad, I need y'all to give me a name for this. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. It's a Wednesday night. My kids is out of school. So it's been hectic today, man. Hectic. So I don't know who else got kids out of school, but man. Exclusive. I like that. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to call it exclusive. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Make sure y'all sharing the live. You trying to cook up tonight. That sounds crazy, man. Let's get this in. We're gonna lay that down real quick. Tripping. It's definitely a slow flow, so we're gonna try to build on it. And turn it into a 4-bar loop. It's really an 8-bar loop, but it's always good to program in 4 bars. One more time. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. in the live. I need a name for this one. This one crazy right now. Right now, this is for a special breed, man. This ain't for your average. That joint's going crazy. That joint going real crazy right now. I ain't gonna hold you. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. I need a name for this beat, man. I see my man Boy Swagger, he dropping some joints in there. We're gonna drop that in there real quick. We're gonna drop that in there real quick. Signature sound. Let's go. Get that sound in there, man. We need that in there. We need that in there. give it a little bit more flavor. Most likely, if it comes out the way that I think it's gonna come out, then we'll probably wind up mixing it tomorrow, and then we'll make it available on our site at arkatechbeatz.com. Yo, Coach J, what up? About no 3.0 for the desktop, but I know some people will be happy about that. Yo, Jay, who winning with the Knicks? They going to the finals, bro. Can't believe it. My Knicks going to the finals, man. Can't believe it. If they win this first game, they're about to be on. Said they're going to burn down New York City. I'm here for it. Crazy right there. We're going to duplicate this. And we're going to put this other sound in it. And we had one more sound. We're going to do that. Chad, I need a name for this beat. Sound Chemist, what up? That's the name? Music Man C says fly away. I like that too. What's up with these Wu-Tang names, yo? Outer World Dilemma, Ancient Scriptures. That's that Wu-Tang slang, man. What's happening? Shout out Raekwon and Power. It's that change, man. Everything. I need to beef it up a little bit. That Rebar East. Mind switch. Slow it down. I'm gonna try something. Not it. Always worth trying. It's half speed, half time. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. I'm gonna go with the name Fly Away. Shout out Music Man C. That gun's crazy right there. It's crazy. I'm gonna sequence it up, try to get this good. Everybody that's in the live.
Arkatech Beatz.
And I'm going to copy this to another sequence. And we're going to call this Fly Away Verse. And I think what we're going to do to kind of get the verses versus the hooks is yeah, I'm not finished yet, man. I'm just really getting started with this. Just trying to find out, basically trying to establish the groove. You know what I mean? Like once we can establish the groove, then we can kind of different elements in it. If you listen to it, you can hear it. New World Media, what up, man? Calvin, what up? Johnny, we lean toward United Masters. There's a lot going on in this sample. There's definitely some elements in this sample, man. Sometimes you find a sample that got everything, man. It's just like, wow. There's a really dope string line in here. In it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play on top of that. So listen, there's some things that we're going to do to this, right? There are two things that I like to add to my stuff. For those that follow me, they know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go with my stage piano on this. Yeah, Akai has a very nice stage piano sound. I'm going to pick a Steinway grand piano. We're going to get our volume pretty good. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our sample. We're going to find out the key. We're at A minor. We're going to go back to our sound, and then we're going to go into pad mode, and then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to start the scale at A minor, and this will help to keep us in key, right? So when you're playing along, you don't really have to worry about your joint going off too much. We're going to go chromatic. What up? Got it. Yo, the Knicks lost? Stop lying. I thought they was up. I would prefer to play it on the MP, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it misses the black keys, and then my keyboard is off to the left, so I'm over here leaning over here trying to play with my left hand. I think I'm gonna just run it, man. Like, that's how I feel right now. I feel like just running it. Like, I feel like just run it just the way that it is. Like, less is more, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm feeling like that tonight. Like just running it. Just add this tag in here, man, and call it George. Cause I'm like, yo, I hope the Knicks don't lose tonight. That's why I don't watch them. Cause the way my ulcers are made up, I don't want an ulcer because of the Knicks, man. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks be messing me up, man. Like, they should have won. They probably should have won this game. Probably blew it.
Arkatech Beatz.
She got you stressed. Alright, we're gonna put this in song mode. Call this joint Fly Away. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Some folks are saying, yo, man, you should do more talking, man. I'm like, yo, I talk. If people ask questions, I talk all night, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You just got to ask the questions, man. I see some people asking questions. Hold on. I just missed one from my man, Rob. Yeah, Rob, I'm about to do that right now. I'm about to just go into song mode now and then use mutes to kind of that's the only way to really set up your song. After you kind of set up your if you notice what I did, I have an intro, and then I got a hold on. I got an intro, and then I got the verse, and then I have the hook. Now the verse, if you notice what the verse does, the verse is 12 bars. It's gonna play the first 4 bars of the sample, then it's gonna repeat 4 bars, and then take the whole way 8, and then I'm gonna take that and run that into the hook for 8 bars, and then run that back to the verse. The intro, the only difference between the intro and the regular hook is the intro has a tag on it. So I have to make a separate sequence for that, so it has the tag on it, and then we're good to go. So I'm going to go into song mode now. I've already put in the intro. I'm going to put in the hook here, right? Then we're going to go back into the verse. I'm going to go back to the hook, go back to the verse. What's that? Hook, verse, one more hook, and then one more verse, and that's the end of the song.
Arkatech Beatz.
New World Media dropping rhymes in the chat. Already, I see you. Wait a minute, I shouldn't do it that way. I should have the intro there, and then I should turn this into the verse. I'm tripping. This should be back the hook. This should be back the verse. Right? This is going to go back to the hook. This is going to go back to the verse. And then this is gone. Okay, let's try it again.
Arkatech Beatz.
Appreciate you, Ellie. I think I'm going to take out the fall or the hit in the verse. I only want it in the beginning. we might be good here.
Arkatech Beatz.
I'm feeling like I feel like I'm cheating, and I can't leave it that way. It's killing me right now. Hold on a second. Someone's asking what's a better alternative for artists not using distribution company. You can do direct to customer, and you just basically sell it on your own site. We're going to take this, we're going to fly this into the other part of the intro sequence, just to make sure we got it. Paste that in there. That should be good.
Beatz.
All right, I think we're good now.
Arkatech Beatz.
It definitely goes. Yeah, that's it. That is it. Like, yeah, that's definitely it. So the first beat was called Exclusive. That's all right. But this joint right here. I was concerned that it was too slow. But man, this is groove. Spooky, right? Yo, what up? Who was with me? Who was with me yesterday? Cause yesterday we did 3 different beats yesterday, and the first 2 was fire. The last one I was like, but I touched it back again today, and I turned it into something totally crazy. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, Flamingo, what you saying, son? Make a part with no drums after the hook. Yeah, y'all like those. Y'all like those no drum joints. I was thinking about that. Part of me wanted to kind of pull out some of the elements of the drum on the hook. Name this beat Fly Away. Who we selling these to these to? Who are we selling to these days? We got some things in the pipeline. The last joint we just did with Lloyd Banks. You know what I mean? We got some joints in the pipeline, man. We just You know what I'm saying? We're always out in these streets. You know what I'm saying? And everybody that we've worked with before is always on deck to work with again. It's just a matter of us giving them the music. A lot of it be on us. A lot of us, like what people don't want to talk about is that a lot of producers have become, jaded to the game, right? So, like we'll be sitting on a ton of music, and people be hitting us up, and we'd be like, we'd be like, It just depends on who we, it's like it depends on what we want to do. Right now we're in this situation where we've been doing the lives, and I've been connected with a lot of new artists. There's a lot of new artists, a lot of people out here that's hungry, a lot of people that really want to work, a lot of people that are willing to invest in themselves. People are willing to take the feedback. So, in this day and age, just like this, man, what I love is that we can work with anybody that we want to, and we're not boxed in. We're established in a way that we don't have to chase the industry anymore. The things that we've done, we're cemented in hip hop. In terms of hip hop history, we're cemented in that. So, yeah, and then also we're being very careful about who we attach our brand to. It's very serious. New World Media, you're right about that. So, we're doing a lot of things to just, we want to help artists. We want to work with new artists, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we're vetting people. We want to make sure that it's the right fit. I think that's more important than anything, is really having the right fit. Protect your energy, right? You see that demon energy on trial right now? You got to protect your energy. There's a lot of shenanigans going on, so you want to make sure that you're just finding the people that really like you and want to work with you. You know what I mean? So what I want to do is I'm going to save this beat, and then I want to play the joints from yesterday, because the joints from yesterday was tough. They definitely was tough. And we had the 3 joints yesterday. One of them was called Mama's Prayer. I'm gonna play that one first. And then I got the sequences beat up and everything, so I'm gonna put it in song mode and y'all can hear it from top to bottom. New World, check this out. I don't know if he was here yesterday. So.
Arkatech Beatz.
Arkatech Beatz.
And then there was a second one that we did. There was a second one that we did. It was a joint that we call Cool Summer. And we did all of these yesterday, man. This is the thing that was crazy. We was in the live for about maybe almost 2 hours, a little more than 2 hours, and this one came up yesterday. Just trying to tell me on my memory is being using all my memory, low memory. What?
Arkatech Beatz.
That one was called Cool Summer. And then we had one last one we did called Solo Mission last night. Well, I didn't finish this one last night. I finished this one earlier today. And right before I got on the live, and my kids was on my back. Was like, yo, what's taking you so long? What you doing down there? Yo, if y'all was in the live last night, like this one was giving me hell. This is the original sample. Listen to it. So I couldn't really loop it up. So then I said, let me chop it. Then I wound up chopping it, and then I was like, all right, I got to get some more elements in this thing. Like it had to I had to beef it up. So it was like, so we did a bunch of things to this, and we had to kind of get. I put these sounds in it. I put like a fall in it. I put this other sound in it. So I kind of try to make it more spooky, more eerie, right? Kind of make it feel like it's the person coming from below. And I think where it really started to shine was here. I had to put these pianos in it. Right? We had to play that piano on the bottom of it to make it, you know. And then now this was the one that this is what took it, like it took this what took it like I took it home, right? Because I'm like, yo, I gotta put another piano in this joint, right? And I gotta make it sparkle. So it was this thing right here. So if you can see the NPC, that's me playing it. So I'm like, yeah, so you can look at the arrangement. Look at it. I had to do it, man. So it was like, yeah, I had to, man. So I was like, when I like last night, I was determined. I said to myself, I said, I cannot let this beat go away. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if you even go back and you watch the live, the last maybe 20 minutes of the live last night, I'm over here. I'm fighting with this beat last night. And I'm like, man, I was fighting with it. It was like I was tired. I was like, I said, I gotta fix it. So right before I got on live today, that's why I got on a little late too, because I was trying to, you know, mix this thing, because I'm like, man, this got to go out. He said, nah, I wasn't really playing it on the drum pad. I had to play it on the keyboard. I ain't gonna, man, come on, man. Like, you could try to play it on the drum pad, but that's madness, man. You be over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to do all that, man. That's crazy. But definitely trying to make these beats, like, you know, like, listen, I'm gonna be honest, man. That, like, this is the one thing that I do like about doing the lives. Doing the lives keep me productive, because, you know, there'll be some times where, you know, as a producer, you know, you get like, you know, you get a little bored. Sometimes you don't want to do it. So what happens is, because I know that there are people that are waiting to see what I'm doing, people who want to, you know, work while I'm working. I'm like, all right, it's like it's motivation to just keep working and keep building new joints. And I think, listen, I think in the last 30 days, I think we built like, give or take, like anywhere between 60 and 70 joints. Like 60 and 70 hot joints. Like I haven't even mixed all these beats. A lot of these beats I haven't mixed them. I haven't mixed some of them yet. I haven't sent them to Mike yet. Like it's totally outside of our process. Like it's like now I've gotten to the point where it's too many. I'm like, okay, I gotta start now taking the days and start, going through everything, mixing, listening, mixing, sequencing. Cause and then start just kind of sending joints out to people. You know what I mean? Yo, did the Knicks win? Somebody tell me the score. Or is it still overtime? Hey Johnny, man, the only reason why I really don't do it is because I stream everywhere and I don't stream on TikTok. So what happens is when I'm using other people's music, sometimes I have situations with copyright claims, and you can't really play those type of games with YouTube. But we will be opening back the feedback portal. I know a lot of people been asking me about that. Yo, man, I want feedback. Can you help me on my joints? I want to hear, different things. People want to just get feedback. So I'm about to open that back up probably in another 2 days or so. Hopefully by the weekend we have it open back again. Do I got one more beat in here I think I wanted to play tonight? Well, let's go back to the one we did, the ones we did today. I think there was another one here that we did. We call Heavenly Flows. But shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to everybody that shared the live. Like the live. Everybody that's no, not that one. Yeah, that's crazy. That one's crazy too. Come on, Zach. Let's get it. Let's get it, man. Let's get it, man. It's all good, brother. Project 2. Tonight we did Fly Away. But I got a few more minutes, man. If anybody got any questions to ask in the live, man. I notice on these lives, I don't see a lot of questions, and it's concerning to me. That's what's up, bro. social media, is there other way to promote your music? The short answer is no. There is no other way to promote your music outside of social media. Um, like if I'm being transparent, um, once you kind of get over your once you get over your dislike for social media, because some of us don't like social media. You know what I mean? If you're a private person, you don't like social media. If you're like how I am, I don't really like social media. I don't like you would think that I like social media because I do the live, but I don't really like social media. Like if you think about it, it's like if you think about my music and you think about all the artists that I work with, a lot of you guys who are just getting familiar with us, who know our music but don't know us. And that's by design, you know. We did that on purpose. We wanted to be anonymous, like for real, for real. You know, like that's what we wanted. We wanted to make the money, live the life without being in the limelight and leaving, and keep all that social pressure off of you, right? The music business is treacherous. You can see it with this Cassie thing. You know what I mean? You can see this Diddy and Cassie thing. You can see how treacherous it is. And you can see how people get caught up. You know, people get caught up. People get caught up in the lifestyle, and you get caught up, man. Like, and I'll keep it 100. Like, you gotta realize I'm from the Bronx, right? So I'm from the Bronx, man. So for those who know Bronx, New York, y'all know Bronx, New York. For those who know, right? Granted, my parents is Jamaican, and they were able to buy their home and all of that type of stuff. But it's still the Bronx, you know what I'm saying? So where you have little pockets of the Bronx, that's okay. But for the overall gist of it is what it is. When I first started to travel from this music stuff, right? The music stuff, we started to travel because we just finished doing Pun. Pun goes platinum. Does 2 million copies, and everything's going crazy. And then we start linking up with Raekwon and Power, and we played them a bunch of music. And there was a period of time where Raekwon was just kind of doing his own thing, away from outside of RZA for a little while. So he was trying to build his own little team, and that's what the American Cream Team thing was, and was trying to build his his producer core and stuff. So shout out to DJ Trife. So once he was like, okay, we're gonna start working, they said, I'm gonna call you when we about to leave to go to Cali. So I'm like, man, ain't nobody going to Cali, man. Ain't nobody taking us to Cali. Ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't going nowhere. So at the time, I was working for a Fortune 500 company. Pun, like I said, Pun went platinum, man. So I was really like just going through the motions with the day job, and then I get the call from my man Mel. Rest in peace, Mel Carter. And he's like, yo, give me your information. We about to book your tickets to go to LA. And I'm like, for real? So then we wind up going to LA. And then they gave me a Tahoe. Said, here goes your car. Put me in the corporate housing. You know what I'm saying? I had jacuzzi, this, that, the third, and all that stuff. They rented a mansion in the Hollywood Hills. And then we had 2 studios that we were working out in for that whole period. So Ray would be in the main studio, which we track record, and then there was another studio, I forget the name of it, that was down the road where the Cream Team guys would do a lot of their work. And then I would be bouncing back and forth between both studios, doing 12 and 16-hour days, going back and forth both studios. But that was the life. And then once you start getting that Hollywood Hill life, right? It's a different life. It's a different life. People don't seem to understand. It's a different lifestyle. And I remember when we finished the project. Man, and then I wind up going back because now I had a studio in Yonkers we had bought a crib in Yonkers, and I had put the studio in the lower level and stuff. And I just remember that culture shock of leaving, the Hollywood Hills mansion and coming back to, a duplex. And a duplex in Yonkers, New York, and it was such a culture shock. And that's when I realized, like, okay, this music thing can really, 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 really fuel your dreams. And, it made me very, very hungry to live back that lifestyle because I was gone for months. So it was like, I was gone for months. So it was like, I started to adapt to where I was, not realizing that it was temporary. So I was like, I got to work now to make that permanent. So then we went on a mission now to, to start making these records and try to change our lifestyle. So I say all of that to say, if you're not grounded, and because we come from humble means, you say, well, how come a person can get with Diddy and get caught up? That's how they get caught up. They don't want to go back. Nobody wants to go back. You don't want to go back to the hood, bro. Nobody want to go back to that. So, I'm not casting any judgment on anybody, but that's what happens. People get in and they don't want to go back, man. So what I'm trying to do with this whole live stream and these type of things, I'm trying to tell people my story, tell people what I went through, try to prepare people mentally for the things that happen, because the way the music industry works is that one day you just one day you just chucking along, the next day you get a call, and your life is different. Everything is different now. Or a record will come out and it'll do X amount of millions of copies, and you're like, oh, now your life is different. And people's like, well, what you do? So what do you do? And like, we from the hood, we don't know what to do. All we do is buy a chain, we buy a car, we buy some watches, we buy some clothes. We don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? But that be the main thing that get people killed. You know what I'm saying? You go back to the hood, you flossing. If you're not built like that, people gonna try you. That's how it worked. You know what I'm saying? So, and I remember all of those things happening to us in real time. Like, when we first start getting featured in the Source and people start, checking for us and stuff like that. And I'm in the hood. I'm back in the hood, and I'm in the Bronx, and I'm like, I'm figuring this is my stomping ground. This is where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? I could do this. You know what I'm saying? But people start talking funny, and you got to be prepared for that. And you got to make sure that you're not going to crash out. So at the end of the day, I just want artists to just be very mindful of like, what I want to give people information, man. Information is the power. And being transparent and talking about how you can get caught up, how you can go back to the hood and get lined up easy. Like there are things that can happen to people because people just don't talk about how can you avoid the pitfalls. And that's the thing. Nobody really want to talk about it. So you asking me about the live stream camera setup? So the way this live stream is, the way this is set up is that there's a camera up here, and then there's one here, right? and I'm using Streamlabs to do everything where I can see everything. Um, so it's two 4K cameras. I have a third 4K camera, but that's for when we do the podcast. That's behind me. Um, and I put an arm. There's an arm. I'm gonna put a list of everything that we use on our website so people can kind of see what we're using. But I had to get an arm that connects here, and then so it can show everything that I'm doing on the pads. Especially if you go to YouTube, I know like if you're looking on the phone, if you're looking on your phone, because like how TikTok does it vertical, but on the YouTube video, the MPC is basically the whole screen, and I'm in the corner. You know what I'm saying? So that makes it probably easier to follow on YouTube versus on live here. And then what we do is we're using this Podcaster Pro. Yeah, I'm using the Podcaster Pro. I'm using a Scarlett 81. Is it 818 or 816? One of those. Cause I got another Scarlett over there on the old. That's what I call the old system behind me on the left. That's the old system that got like the beats from maybe about 8 to 10 years ago, and then there's another computer over here, and then there's a third computer behind me. But this is the main setup in front of me right here. You can't see it, but that's really like the main setup here in front of me. Yeah, people got to get comfortable with not wanting to be on camera, man. It's like, excuse me, like I can't stress it enough. Appreciate you, brother. Like the reality of the situation is that there's a lot of people that do not want to be on camera. They're uncomfortable with it. But remember how this thing works, and I want people to be very clear. You get online, you share what you do, you share your art, you share your creativity, and you do it consistently, right? People say, "Well, what do you mean to do it consistently?" You pick your cadence, whether it be twice a week, 3 times a week, once a week, but you just do it consistently, and then you let the algorithm find the people that rock with you. And when you find the people, when the algorithm starts to show you who's rocking with you, when the algorithm starts to tell you, okay, yo, they like this beat, or they like this song, or they like this part of the song, or they like this part of the beat, or they like this picture, they like this AI picture. Once you start figuring it out, or once the algorithm starts showing you, and that's the only way for you to know, because you have to put into the system. People looking at it like, oh, it's the system is rigged or whatever. Nah, the system ain't really rigged. It's just that you haven't done enough, long enough, and then what happens is on another level, it's like, yo, you have to put into it, And it took me a while, and I'm saying this as an old guy, telling you like, look, it took me a while to really understand this, and I've been on social media from the beginning. It's just that I wasn't utilizing social media the right way, right? It's like I was on it, like I've always had. You know, we've had Twitter page, our Twitter account. We've had Twitter since its inception. I think we got anywhere between 50, 60,000 tweets or sometimes stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like we've been on Twitter from the beginning. We've been verified on Twitter from the beginning. Facebook, same thing. Instagram, same thing. It's just you have to utilize it. So for a long time, we were resistant to utilizing our social media. We were resistant, and honestly, when you do that, you limit your opportunities. There's just no other way that can tell you. You limit your opportunities. You could do it the old way, which is emailing people, going out, meeting people, whatever. You can do it that way, but remember, social media is the cheat code, and it's free for right now. And it won't always stay free, but this is the best thing. Yo, shout out to PMD Comedy. I appreciate you sharing the page. E Santana, what up? Yeah, I definitely want people to not be afraid of the social media, man. Like I'm telling you, man. Listen, you would be if I was to tell you the amount of people that I consult with that are really, really big names. You know what I'm saying? Big names in music industry, big names on television industry, TV, movies, right? Big names, big name people that refuse to do the socials. And then they wonder like, yo, like you can't refuse to do the socials. The social is now, that's the new medium, bro. Like you can't, there's no way that you can get past it. And people who think that you can do it the old way, it just doesn't work anymore, so. And you need the data. There's no other way to get the data. Think about a platform like TikTok or a platform like YouTube. He said, Beat sounds like running a track meet into projects. Listen, man. I call it fly away. Appreciate you, brother. And the one thing about Beats too, I think people are not really aware of this with Beats, is you better know who to send it to. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're a person that's out here that's, sending your stuff out, sending out beat packs, you better know who to send what to. So what you don't want to do is have some of the illest beats and you send it to the wrong artist and then they don't go nowhere. We had a record with true story. We had a record with Obi Trice, and it was the beat was crazy, man. When I say that beat was just crazy, man, it was a crazy beat. And at the time Obi had just came off the debut album. And Eminem, supported him. He was doing his thing. And I just remember, Mike hit me up. Mike, like, yo, homie, took the record. The name of the record is called What You Want. You can look for it on YouTube because it's not really released. So it's kind of like it's unreleased, but it's released, right? And I just remember this being like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna try to get it to, So, long story short, we get the song back. The song is kind of, like as a producer, I think sometimes what happens is that you can be really deflated with the way your music sounds if you give it to an artist and they don't quite like hit it the way you want them to hit it. No Diddy, you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't seem to, it's not the right marriage. Um, Sometimes it just happens that way. You know what I mean? And like the artists that are very, very talented kind of know, what to do on a record. Um, a record that really surprised me out of all of them, out of a lot of them, the record that really surprised me was that Max B record. Because not in a million years would I have thought that beat would have gone so well with him. Like I wouldn't have known that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was really like serendipity. Like again, that record he wasn't even supposed to have that CD. That CD was intended for Jim Jones. And Jim just didn't happen to get to the studio that night or whatever happened, and we wind up giving that thing to Max, and the rest is history. So it's like I would have never have thought that, I would have never thought that record would have came out the way that it came out. And true story, we had that beat for years. We had that beat for years before Max got it. So so that's when I talk about it. Like that's when I say like as producers and artists, you have to be futuristic. You have to not only think about what's the sound for now, but you have to think about what's going to be the sound 2-3 years from now. Because that's really how that happened. Is that he got the record, he got the track like damn near 2-3 years after we did it. Listen, he gonna be home soon, man. We counting down, so we already, we lined up, we ready. So we ready. So I ain't worried about it. So once he get home, y'all about to see all the madness take place. You know what I mean? For Max. Buckeye said this beat would be perfect for Griselda. Yep. Look, once we start doing the Griselda Black Soprano family stuff, because it's kind of inevitable. But once all of that stuff starts to kind of, once that stuff starts to kind of percolate a little bit, y'all gonna hear stuff that y'all gonna hear something that you never heard before. Yeah, Andrew, he says, I realize as a producer to just make what I think sounds good and not to do things because you have to. Listen, Andrew, that's the number one way to get burnt out. The number one way to get burnt out is for you to chase the trend. Like there was a period in our careers where we were chasing the trend, and I really hated it. Like that was the time that it really kind of made me not really want to be in the business, and that's when I really wanted to quit. It damn near depressed me. Because it was just like you don't get to do you, and then you're not doing what you love to do. You're not doing the music that resonates with you, and then then you have to have tough skin in this business, meaning you have to know how to deal with the rejection. Not everything is for everybody. And I think that's the main thing that people have to be aware of. And that's why I say, hey, put your stuff out on social media and let the algorithm work. Let the algorithm work, man. The algorithm will find who your music is for. That's the thing. You have to find who your music is for. And then once you find who your music is for, you have to continue to serve who wants your music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense to me trying to serve hamburgers to vegetarians. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you definitely want to make sure that you do what you love doing, man. You know, and there was a period. Hey, man, tie it together. There was a period there was a period for me where it was like I was absolutely bored. Um, I probably shopped every day. All I did was shopped. I didn't, and you know, but part of it was because what I loved doing, it really became my job. So it took the joy out of it, So you have to find your joy back in doing this thing, man. And and listen, if you'd have told me that I was gonna be going live every night and that I was gonna literally enjoy going live, I would never have believed you. I'd have been like, that's not my thing. Me going live, talking to people, being on this computer, looking at a screen, talking to people that I don't know, I'd have been like, man, that's not even my thing. But now that I've been doing it, and getting out of the fear of the judgment of people going to judge how I make my music, and I don't claim to be an MPC expert. I'm not that. I'm not an MPC expert. I'm proficient, but I'm not an expert. I'm working toward being an expert on it. You know what I mean? I know what I want to hear, and I know how to get from point A to point B. So wouldn't call me an expert, but I'm damn good. Emmanuel says, last night he discovered my channel. Needless to say that I couldn't sleep all night. Emmanuel, appreciate that from Dubai, man. Shout out to you. And thank you. Thank you for supporting. And, thank you for everybody that does support, man, that sends the gifts, and everybody that's supporting, that's buying the books, that's buying the kits, people that are trying to, level up their sound by getting beats. Look, I appreciate everybody that's doing that. Do you take days off from producing beats just to listen to sample and sound design? Yes. Honestly, what I want to do now is I want to carve out time daily to do that. So I'll probably take an hour. Typically, I'm searching for samples about an hour or two before I go live. So I'm just going through samples, and I'm just listening to stuff, and I'm like, okay, where do I want to land? You know what I mean? Tonight, like, what I want to do is I want to do something grind. Warren, what suggestions you got, brother? But yeah, I take days off. I take time to definitely to look for samples and do sound design. It's important, you know what I mean? It's like really like, if you think about it, it's kind of like sharpening your tools. I'm gonna look into that, man. I'm gonna look into that. Because when I'm trying to find for samples, remember what's happening is I'm doing tutorials, and the tutorials are streaming across multiple platforms, And what I have to do is I have to make sure that the samples that I'm choosing have licensing, and that I can use them without my channel getting copyright strikes. Or if I do get a copyright strike or copyright notification, I can always send the license in and get it removed. So I have to be very meticulous about that, you know. But if I'm being honest, Warren, coming from the era that I come from, right, which is all of my samples have to get cleared, and I have a lot of records that never got cleared. I have a whole bunch of records that are sitting in my archive that could never get cleared, that didn't get see the light of day from big name artists. And what I want to encourage people to do right now is to really make sure that you're only using stuff that you can clear, stuff that's royalty free for the most part. Because remember what's happening on the internet. When you're a person that's trying to get on from the internet, what you don't want to do, and let me tell you what you don't want to do. What you don't want to do is you don't want to give the keys to your car to someone else. Right? Like, you don't want to give the keys to your car to someone else. So say, for example, you got your car is supposed to take you to a destination, and that's, say, your music is supposed to take you to another destination. But now what we're doing is we're using somebody else's vehicle, which is somebody else's samples. So now if somebody want to go somewhere, you can't take them, right? So for example, if somebody wants to use my song and say they want to put it out tomorrow, then I'm like, well, I got this sample and that could take weeks to clear. You know what I'm saying? Or that might not clear at all. So you know how it goes, you know what I mean? So it's just what I try to do is I try to suggest that people use royalty free places. And as I start to build the private group, I'm going to start giving people some game as to that, and making sure that people can know where to search and stuff like that. I like using samples. Samples sound good. Look, you gotta look, man. Like, listen, look, it's 2025, man. So there are so many royalty free. There's so many royalty free places to get samples now, man. That sound like all your old records, your best records, your best. You like you have so much. You have so many resources now. So it's not like when I was coming up 20 years ago. It's a totally different time. To be willing to use the tools that are available to us and use the things that don't impede us, that make us move faster. You have to look at the situation like this. It's like I had a record that we posted online, and Lloyd Banks follows us. He reaches out to us. He says, "Yo, I want that track. Could you archive the video so people can't really hear the track anymore? And, we'll work out the paperwork and stuff like that." And listen, but by the time that I gave him the stems, paperwork, and it came out, that was probably 2 weeks. It happened so fast that, he wanted the track, he recorded it. The next day, he wanted the stems, he sent the paperwork, and that's just the thing. Like, so imagine if I had a sample that I didn't know if it would clear. That's the big issue, is that sometimes we're using samples that we don't know if they're going to clear. So that's why I tell people, listen, man, you can always sample, but make sure we're using royalty-free sources. Like, that's all that I use, and that's all that I have been using. I had a very extensive record collection, that I left in New York with Mike. I had a lot of records, and I just left those records because I got sick of one, sharing my publishing. And listen, we do a combination of both, because I might sample something, but I still play its stuff on top of it, or I'll put, a lot of the stuff you'll hear me put, different piano stuff on it, different strings, different this, different instruments. Like, it's not that I have to sample, it's just that I prefer to do it. That's all. Shout out to Richard. But I got a few more minutes before I jump off. If anybody got any questions, make sure you hit me up. Nah, you good, Rich. Listen, do I worry about? He's asking, do I worry about using the royalty free songs as long as you don't pass 1 million units and all of that type of stuff? I don't use those. I don't use those. Mike sometimes would like to use those, but I don't really like those. And let me tell you why. It's like this, man. So the way that I see it is like this. You got some guys that are loop makers, right? Some guys that are really talented musicians, and they make loops. Some guys are really good at making loops. Other guys are good at making drums. You know what I mean? So sometimes the key here is to kind of find a way to collaborate. And guys will be like, hey, I want to send you some loops. I take the loops, and I can make what I make with my loops. You guys see what I do with loops, right? No problem. But I also have a network. We have a network that we've built for 20 years, right? We have a network of artists, a network of executives, a network of people in tech, a network of people in, in Hollywood and all type of stuff, right? So we have a network now. So what a lot of the loop maker guys are trying to do is they're trying to use their loops to infiltrate my network. And what will happen is they want me to use the loops, then do the work of running around getting the music placed. And then after I get the music placed, then they want to control and dictate the terms of the deal that I might make. Right? So while I understand the hustle, and I do understand the hustle, and I don't knock it, I do understand the hustle, that doesn't work for me, right? That doesn't work for me because what happens is that while I am using your loop, right, you're trying to utilize my network, right? So what's more valuable? My network is more valuable than your loop, or my network is more valuable than your samples. So the reality of the situation is that once I see guys say, hey, you can use it as long as it's not for commercial use, and then you got X amount of streams and da-da-da, like, nah, I'm good on that to a degree, right? So because that's not what I need. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on how you're trying to get it done. But for me, I prefer to use stuff that doesn't have any strings attached. So commercial use is when you're trying to sell it for profit. You know, that's a commercial use, right? If you're using it for promo, you're not selling it, right? If for commercial use, you're trying to sell it to make money. You know? So, and again, I don't knock it, man. A lot of guys reach out to us with the loops. But the problem is that, you know, when it's time to negotiate terms, somebody has to take the lead on it. You know what I'm saying? So what I don't want to do is I don't want to relinquish my relationship, because now what I'm doing is I'm putting a third party in between my relationship. So if I'm making a deal with Lloyd Banks, now I got to add this third person that I may or may not know, who may come in and say, hey, give me $100,000. Like, you know, and that's way outside of the term that anybody could ever do. So you have somebody that can spoil your deal and destroy your relationships, and I can't take that risk. Christian, you know, the funny thing about the microphone is that I'm running the microphone through the MPC. So I'm running the microphone through the MPC, and then I said, can I put an effects on it? And I wind up putting an effects on that, and I said, yeah, I kind of like this, you know what I'm saying? It kind of makes me want to talk, because now that I got a little effects on it, it makes me feel like, I feel like I'm DJing or something like that. So it kind of makes me feel like I want to run my mouth. And again, Rich, like, you know, it just depends on where you are, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're in a situation where you get with the loop makers and they're going to enhance your music and it's going to help you to build that initial network, then you got to do what you got to do. You know, if you haven't built your network yet, and that's going to help you to build your network, if that's going to improve your music quality, improve your music sound, to get you the placements that you do not have yet, then utilize it. Appreciate that. But does anybody have any other questions before I cut on out, man? It's always a pleasure to be on the live. It is kind of late, but, you know, there's no school tomorrow, that's for sure. You know, no school for those kids, so I don't got to be up too early. I'm still up early, but not too early. All right, East Antenna, I see you, man. Peace out, bro. Listen, I'm about to get up out of here. I'll be back here tomorrow around 9-ish. Kaz, what up, man? Warren, I hope to see you tomorrow. We're here every night. Y'all be safe.